The following matchup is presented and played with Hockey Blast Express, a product of PLAAY Games LLC, copyright 2023, all rights reserved. And welcome back to the channel, everybody, as we get set for game number 4 in this time frame, is between the 2020-2021 Washington Capitals and the 1976-77 Montreal Canadiens. Currently, the 2020-21 Washington Capitals lead the time frame, winning 3-0. And if they win this, and if the Caps win this game, Team NHL is sitting prime and pretty to win their first time frame of this project. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Will the clock operator please start the clock? We're going to begin with a 4-6-1. That's a quality check between anybody on the ice for the Caps against player 1 that's shot for Smart. Pick your poison. We're going to go right across from him, Connor Sheary, as both guys do have Smart. Get some of these big men off the ice. Early and often. So we move on to the next segment. Penalty check between Orlov and Lambert. Both guys have the same penalty rating, and we move on to the next segment here in this one. Oh, and it's an automatic power play goal for the home team, so the Caps get on the board. Let's see who scored the power play goal. Player with the second best shot rating. So the best out there is Oshie. The second best is going to go to Lars Eller. So Lars Eller is going to score the goal. It's going to be worth 1 assist. I do want to keep one circle out there. So we're going to go, I think we're going to go with Nick Jensen. So we're going to go with Nick Jensen, who will get the assist on the Lars Eller power play goal, and we stay in the 15th minute with a 4-3-3 between Kuznetsov and Jarvis of the quality check for Star. Jarvis has Star. He moves in on Craig Anderson, who needs to make the play save. I usually don't do the special shot save stuff. I only do shot saves when it is called upon in the scoring chance. That's how I play my games with Hockey Blast Express. We move on, and as Jarvis moves in on Craig Anderson as he shoots and saves it. Craig Anderson needed to make a 1, 2, or 3 to make the stop. Doug Jarvis shot the puck towards him. He says, "Thank you very much. I'll put this into my back pocket," and we move on to the next segment. Visitor scoring chance of a 56. Any home player with a square stops a visitor goal chance. We do. Either Dylan or Orlov is going to stop the goal. Is going to stop the goal chance for the Montreal Canadiens. It's going to be Orlov. And it will be Brandon Dillon stopping the Montreal goal chance. And that's going to be it for the first period as we move into the second with a score of Washington Capitals 1 and the Canadiens 0. We got a quality check this time between players 4 and anybody on the ice for the Habs with speed, skill, hit, and smart. We could tie with Cournoyer, but we're looking for skill. So pick your poison between Savard, Cournoyer, and Wilson. I think we're going to go with Cournoyer. So both guys have skill, and we move on to the next segment in this one. Another quality check, this time between players 5 and 2. That's Carlson and Lafleur for Smart. Both guys have Smart, and the Washington Capitals keep the big men on campus of the 1976-77 Montreal Canadiens in check. We move on with a quality check between, again, both players in 5 and 2. That's Dylan and Tremblay for speed. Oh, Mario Tremblay is going to stop the quality check winning streak of the Caps as Tremblay will move in on Craig Anderson to make a play save as Tremblay shoots and scores to tie the game. How many assists? 2. We are going to give one to Reesborough and the other assist to Wilson. So Tremblay from Reesborough and Wilson scores the Habs game-tying goal here in this one. But not to mention the Habs have really kept Alex Ovechkin in check as they've done their part as the Canadiens do their part. We continue on in this segment. With a home scoring chance of a 45, any home player with a power play circle star creates a power play goal. It's either Oshie or Backstrom. It's going to go to Oshie. And it will go to Oshie as he creates the power play goal scoring opportunity as he moves in on Ken Dryden, who needs to make a 4 or 5 with a dot to make the save. Oh, 5. Yes, 5 dot. Yes, he makes the save. I was going to say he scores. Yeesh. So Oshie gets stopped by Ken Dryden, and we move on to the next segment. 56 5, which is a quality check between players 5 and anybody on the ice that has hit, smart, and power of Brandon Dillon. Close, but we're going to go with Savard. We're looking for speed. Nobody has speed. As we move on to, the next segment here in this one. We go to the third, tied at 1. Home scoring chance of 43. Any home player with a triangle creates a goal. You bet your butt we have 3 guys. Mantha, Backstrom, or Carlson. Mantha has a 2-shot star rating, but even though it's not going to be used, I think we'll keep Mantha. Let's see what the die says. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, Mantha's 1, 2. Backstrom is 3, 4. And John Carlson is 5, 6. And it will be John Carlson looking to move in on Ken Dryden, who shoots. And he makes the save. John Carlson, unlucky that time to keep the game to extend, to break the 1-1 tie as we move on to the next segment. Penalty check between players 1, that's Hagelin, and anybody on the ice for the Canadiens. It looks like the Canadiens can either go on the power play to get into the lead, or they could tie, or they could have the Caps go on the power play. So 1, 2, they go on the power play. 3, 4, they tie. 5, 6, the Caps go on the power play. So they're going to tie. So they're going to go with Schutt to tie things up with Carl Hagelin. And that's going to do it for that penalty segment as we move on to the next segment of the third period, tied up at 1. Visitor scoring chance of a 52. Home player in 2, that's Anthony Mantha. He stops a goal with a quality roll of smart or a square. It looks like Mantha does not have a square, but he does have smart, so he's going to stop the Montreal goal from getting past him towards Craig Anderson's net, towards back behind the net of Craig Anderson for a 2-1 lead, and we move on to hopefully the final segment of this one. And it's a 2-2, it's a critical face-off. So we got Mahavlich and Backstrom are the only two guys with face-off ratings. Mahavlich has a 53, Backstrom has a 48. Mahavlich is going to win that one as he moves in on Craig Anderson, who needs to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 to make the save. He does. Wow, what a save by Craig Anderson. And folks, we are going to sudden death overtime. Let's get to it. Home scoring chance, 62. Any visitor player with a circle prevents a power play goal. You bet your butt we have one. Doug Jarvis is going to stop the Caps from scoring a power play goal to end it right there. Or excuse me, right then and right there. We move on to the next segment of the first overtime period. We got a quality check between Eller and Riesborough for skill. It looks like Lars Eller does have skill as he moves in on Ken Dryden. Hopefully the Caps to seal the Caps victory and the time frame as Eller shoots and scores. Stop the clock. Lars Eller, ladies and gentlemen, scores the game-winning goal in the first overtime period, and the Caps, for the first time in 4 or 5, I got to make sure about the math here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the first time in 6 tries, Team NHL will seal up a time frame victory here in this one, considering the 2020-2021 Washington Capitals to beat the 76, or the first team to beat the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens. Now, there is a downside that the Capitals played in a shortened season. If you think that's worse with a team playing less than 82 games, I said every single team that played in a season would play in this one. So unfortunately for the Habs, they have a little beef here. They only played 56 games. I think they played the regulatory of 80, like 74, 75, mostly close to 80 games in their season. But nonetheless, the Capitals will take this time frame from the 1976-77 Montreal Canadiens, no matter what happens in Game 5, with less than 10 minutes to go in the time frame. So with that being said, let's check to see who scored the assist with Lars Eller. It's 2 assists. It looks like it will be it'll be Ovechkin and Brandon Dillon. So Lars Eller from Alex Ovechkin and Brandon Dillon to seal up the game-winning overtime, the game winner in the first overtime period of Game 4 to take it by a final score of 2-1 here in Game 4 to seal up Team NHL's first time frame victory. So with that being said, stay tuned for the Biddy Beer Game 4 game summary, and brought to you by your favorite Biddy Beer products. If you choose to drink Biddy Beer, please drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste. At a Biddy price, it's Biddy Beer. And stay tuned for Game 5 coming up right after this.